We're just 2 steps away from crowning a 7th grade national champion. Hi everyone, Neil Sika in our Garden State studios, and it's championship week as we look ahead to the quarterfinal matchups in 7th grade. 2016 FBU National Championship. This is the path to Naples. Alan Popadines will join me shortly. The National Scouting Director of Youth1.com is feeling pretty good. His 4 #1 picks across the regionals all make it down to the quarterfinals. There's some new teams as well, mainly Rhode Island. They have caught the eye of many and will be playing in their first quarterfinal matchup down in Southwest Florida. So without further ado, here are the matchups that will post for the final 8 teams in the 7th grade. This is the 5th year of the 7th grade edition of the FBU National Championship. Dade County, unranked by Pops, they'll take on Rhode Island. Well, they're on the path to Naples now, as the #3 pick out of the Northeast has been the surprise of the tournament. That is quarterfinal matchup #1 on December 17th. The winner gets Maryland Broward. How about this game? 2 #1 picks by Pops. Maryland out of the Northeast, Broward out of the South, and they look excellent so far in this 2016 edition of the National Championship. On the other side, it's another pair of #1 picks by Pops, Seattle and Dallas Metro. Both of these teams have been lights out through the opening 3 rounds of the tournament. And it's West Texas in the other quarterfinal. They're the 3rd pick out of the Midwest, taking on Sacramento, the #2 selection. West Texas having one of their best performances across any grade level in team history. And Sacramento, who had a nice little run last year, is back, this time as 7th graders, looking pretty strong. So much more to come on this edition of the Path to Naples, the 7th grade, as we preview these quarterfinal matchups for Championship Week down in Southwest Florida. Alan Popadines of Youth1.com on the other side of the break.
You can ask any coach, player, or fan. Before the beaches, the golf courses, the sunsets, Florida is known for football. But in Naples, Marco Island, you get them all. With the facilities and accommodations perfect for your off-season training, tournament, or event. Florida's Paradise Coast is Florida's sports paradise.
The best youth football players in the country are at Youth1.com. Youth1.com has the Elite 101 report of the nation's top 101 players, the Freshman 450, rankings, recaps, and news for football and all youth sports. And now anyone can create an athlete profile and share their stats, videos, and skills with the world. Whether you want to be the best or see the best, go to Youth1.com, celebrating the best of youth sports.
The Path to Naples is brought to you by the Naples, Marco Island, and Everglades Convention and Visitors Bureau. Also by Battle Sports Science and Youth1. Welcome back on our Path to Naples 2016 as we preview Championship Week, the quarterfinals in 7th grade. We go via Skype to State College, Pennsylvania. Alan Popadines is standing by, acting like he discovered fire, rubbing those matchsticks together with his #1 picks. They're all playing each other, Pops. What a doozy this tournament could be for the 7th graders with these matchups.
You know, these tournaments are always fun when there's some fluky upsets. I mean, you look at March Madness, it's always fun when a 16 beats a 1. But I'm happy to see all these #1 seeds make it down to Naples because we are really, really getting to see who I felt and who I still feel are the best teams on this level in the country.
But you have some heart-shaped hands right now for Rhode Island. These 7th graders are heading down to the quarterfinals. They're going to take on Dade County as we look at this first matchup in 7th grade. Surprise of the tournament from Rhode Island, but Jacob Gibbons, this is a running back we should all know by now.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise. I wouldn't say full-blown surprise because last year we saw that they were putting the pieces in place, right? They were winning some games, opening some eyes. This year they've taken another step. They're down into Naples, and you said it, Jacob Gibbons. The world knows this kid's getting the football. It's no surprise that he is the stud. Rhode Island's coaches have even told me, we're not going to hide anything. Gibbons is going to get the football. You look at what he's done against Connecticut. ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for another one, rushed for around 200 yards, barely played in the second half. Against Mass, 4 rushing touchdowns. Their coach estimated north of 350 yards. Gibbons on the ground is lethal for Rhode Island.
Troy Washington, offensive and defensive side of the football. Brian Iafrate, some good players that we need to know about for this Rhode Island team, going against a very athletic Dade County group.
Yeah, with Washington, here's a kid, a throwback kid, hard-nosed football player. When Gibbons missed some of that second half, Washington was able to be the workhorse. He killed the clock, just ran the ball hard, drained it all out. A physical leader on both sides of the ball that Rhode Island looks to. And an Iafrate, 2 interceptions against Massachusetts. It's always good when you have somebody deep in the secondary that can pick off the passes when tested.
Okay, so early thoughts on this game with Dade and the amount of points they've put up, looking pretty good at 7th grade, and Rhode Island.
Yeah, you have Dade from the powerhouse in South Florida. You have Rhode Island, who nobody in the world thought they would get this far and would be able to do the things they've done. Call it intuition. I don't know what you will, but I'm going to call it Rhode Island. I'm going to say Rhode Island over Dade, and a little bit of a surprise. Another thing I think Rhode Island has working for them is they've played in some not so nice weather so far. It's been cold. It's been a little wet. I want to see what they can do in the sunny Naples, Florida weather.
Well, Pops, this second quarterfinal in the 7th grade, it's good enough to perhaps even be a championship across many levels. Number 1, Maryland, your pick out of the Northeast. Number 1, Broward County, the 6th graders defending champs. So back again, and we'll have a lot of eyeballs on this quarterfinal game. Maryland, a lot of talent. The dual threat quarterback system, the 2-quarterback system of Broward County seems to be working just fine through these first few games. We'll get to Broward County in a second, but Dale Bracey, you can't miss this guy, and he's been making plays for Maryland all over the field.
Yeah, he's the tallest skill guy that Maryland has. They got some big old linemen as well. But Bracey is around 6'1", 140, 150 pounds, and the kid creates mismatches with his size. You put him outside as a wide receiver. He's been making plays downfield, really stretching the field for Maryland. And then on defense, what really surprised me about him is just how physical he is on defense. For being a thinner kid, because he's so tall, he's not afraid to just stick his shoulder in there and light somebody up. So Bracey's had a wonderful tournament so far.
Speaking of wonderful tournament, Wyatt Hagan, we've talked about him on the preview shows. We talked about him after round 3. This quarterback is just kind of steady Eddie.
Yeah, this is a kid, and it's a generic football speak term, but the kid is a field general. He really is. He controls the offense, controls the pace of the game. What I love about him is that he's never going to put his team in a bad position. He's smart with the football. He knows that if no one's open, tuck it and run, get what I can get. He's not afraid to throw the ball away as well. He's very, very advanced up in the head, between the ears. He's very advanced for a quarterback at this level.
Maybe the big matchup on the field in this game, the quarterbacks of Broward County going against the linebacking core of Maryland. Gibson, Perez, Coakley, so impressive.
Yeah, I don't know much about chess. I don't claim to be a genius here, but this is going to be a chess matchup that I'm going to love to see. How can these 3 linebackers deal with the 2-quarterback set that Broward has, which we'll talk about? How are these 2 position groups going to interact? With Maryland, Gibson, unbelievable tournament so far. You can't miss that kid. He's got the cowboy collar hanging out the back of his jersey. A little bit of an old school guy. Sideline to sideline, athletic as they come. Actually plays running back during the regular season on the other side of the ball. Perez is a thumper. They actually use him on offense as well. He's scored touchdowns. Defensively, he's laying the wood. And then Coakley, this is the kid we talked about on the preview show. The guy that's going to run up those A-gaps and blast your quarterback or your running back in the backfield. Great trio of linebackers. I'd put them up against anybody.
Just say Pawns Rook 2 when you're talking about chess. You'll impress pretty much everyone you come across. Okay.
Yeah, whatever you say, yeah. That.
Shifting gear to Broward County, it doesn't seem like there has been a lack of chemistry regardless of who plays quarterback right now, whether it be Dickens or Masco. Is that because they're so different in what they try to accomplish when they're out there?
I think they're both just extremely dangerous. Dickens scored 3 touchdowns, was the MVP last year in the championship game. Little bit shorter of a kid, but can move around a little bit and can toss the ball wherever he wants to. And then Masco, I spoke about him on the preview show. I don't know if there's a more impressive 2022 prospect in the country than this kid. He is Cam Newton 2.0. I cannot stress that enough. 6'3", 170, gets it done with his arm and his legs. There's no problem with chemistry there. Special kids, both of them.
Now we'll see if Masco wears a tie when he gets off the bus for that quarterfinal game. Dukes and Miller, the running back combo. You know, you're talking about dual threat quarterbacks, and now you have dual threat rushers who are moving the chains.
Yeah, and these are just two kids. You know, there's a million kids on this Broward team, which makes them so dangerous, that can take the ball who get the ball during the regular season on their regular team. With Dukes, you know, there's a kid who ripped up the tournament last year, both sides of the ball. Miller was their main offensive threat running last year. But again, they're just two. They're just two pieces of this puzzle. They got athletes all over the field.
You know, they follow the lead of Alton Tarbur and Keyshawn Hudson on that offensive line, making them so difficult to stop, whether it be in the running game or the passing game.
Yeah, both these kids made first team Youth 1 All FBU National Championship tournament last year. And when people think, or in the past, when people have thought of Broward and Dade and South Florida, they think about all speed guys, a bunch of athletes. But, you know, they're starting to have these linemen that are playing youth football as they're getting rid of the weighted football down there. They're starting to get these linemen that are just mammoth, that open up holes, that get it done for the offense, that make everything tick. And that's what these two kids are.
Defending 6th grade champs, Broward County, now at the 7th grade level against Maryland. Who do you like early in this one?
This is a toss-up. I mean that wholeheartedly. You can go either way. Man, I'm on the spot here. I'm going to go with Broward just because they've done it before.
Okay.
They won last year. They got more pieces. I picked Broward in a game that could really go either way.
That's fair. I'm not going to comment on your Facebook post. Other people might. That's why we play. It'll be fun. All right, Pops, the third matchup in this quarterfinal, another outing that passes the eye test. Number 1, Seattle, your number 1 pick out of the West, and Dallas Metro, number 1 out of the Midwest. Let's start with Dallas Metro. This offense has been lethal to the opposing teams through the first 3 rounds. Yeah,
they're putting up points at will. When they want to score, they have. Very dynamic offense, very fast, very athletic. Not a lot of power, just kind of, I'm going to run the ball around you, you can't stop me type of stuff.
Jordan Crook, this defensive end, running back, linebacker combination. He's been on both sides of the field and has been excellent.
Yeah, he's an athlete that we mentioned in the preview show that we really like. And with Crook, you know, he's standing out at defensive end / outside linebacker, which is a little bit of a change from where I've seen him at other camps and all-star events. Playing defensive end, he uses that speed extremely, extremely well. A running back on the offensive side of the ball, so you know what you're dealing with as a rush, as an edge rusher. And again, on the offensive side of the ball, he scored a couple of touchdowns for Dallas Metro too.
Speaking of touchdowns, the running back Isaiah Broadway has been scoring at will throughout this championship run.
Yeah, I swear I wrote this stuff myself, but right down Broadway, baby, that's where he runs.
How original, yes.
Yeah, I know.
No, Isaiah A1A, they're going to be playing in Florida.
The guys in the back love it. So, yeah, this is a kid that gets downhill real quick. A very, very fast running back who runs with bad intentions. It's funny, watching some of the highlights I've seen of this kid during the regular season, opponents actually look like they're diving out of the way instead of having to tackle this kid. So you know the type of physical, fast, all-around great back you're dealing with.
Can't discount the relationship between the quarterback Glenn Rice and his dad, who's the head coach, and getting that message across to keep everybody organized and to play the way they have.
Yeah, you can't substitute that type of relationship. You know, after homework, I'm sure Dad's drilling him with some football stuff. After he says his prayers at night, I'm sure Dad's giving him some more football advice before he hits the sack and goes to bed. So to have that constant relationship between coach and quarterback is very, very important. And you see that leadership in Rice. Here's a kid who's taking all these different athletes from all over the Dallas Metroplex, and he's gathering them all under his control. He talks to every kid on that team, which is something that I really like about him. No one's excluded. He's making everybody feel like a team. And that comes from his dad. I mean, that's a great relationship and a great trait for a quarterback to have.
They're going to line up with a very big, physical Seattle offensive and defensive front for that matter. Running backs have been great for this group out of the Pacific Northwest. Justin Drayton, Marcus McCraney, they've combined for 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, and this is what's going to be cool. You have the speed of Dallas Metro, the speed and finesse, and then you have Seattle, who are bring your lunch pail and your hard hat. They want their offensive linemen to grab onto those defensive linemen, drive them into the ground, and let the running backs run up the middle. You have some toughness from that Seattle O-line that's really going to make a difference. You see they paved the way for 9 rushing touchdowns already. It's going to be a nice juxtaposition with Dallas Metro.
How about Curtis and Hunter, the Hill boys? 4.5 sacks combined. They can rush the passer, too, on this team.
Absolutely. The Hill boys get after it, man. No quarterback is safe with those two on the field. And they're just 2 kids. You know, they probably have 5, 6 other sacks from one individual or another. So this is a defense that knows how to get after the quarterback and create headaches.
Seattle, Dallas Metro. Who do you got?
This is a tough one, but I'm going to go with the speed of Dallas Metro. I think too many weapons. And, you know, speed is the name of the game, and I think Dallas Metro has the edge there.
Final quarterfinal. The winner of this Seattle-Dallas Metro game will get the winner of West Texas and Sacramento. You had West Texas on your radar, number 3, and Sacramento, number 2 out of the West. This has been a fine performance from this area of Odessa and out there, even maybe the boundaries of El Paso for this West Texas group as they run the football very well.
Yeah, they don't have Booby Miles in the backfield, but this team is really, really impressive with what they're doing running the ball. A lot of weapons. Quarterback can run. Running backs, multiple running backs can run the ball. Good-looking West Texas.
Well, that's Josh Arispe and Jordan Springer, the 2 running backs you speak of.
Yeah, both kids have multiple touchdowns. Both are closing in on 200 yards on the ground. West Texas, you know, no one really knows about what they have been doing down there. This is the farthest they've ever gotten in this tournament as a program. And running the ball is really how they made their success.
Brandon Maddox, we've spoken about him before. He's having a great run at the safety position.
Absolutely. His older brother is a D1 prospect committed to Vanderbilt, if I remember correctly. And this is a kid at playing safety, 6 tackles, 4 interceptions. You know, somebody that you're happy to have back there if you need him, because he can come up and play the run. Also, no fly zone back there with Manning.
Sacramento is quietly a football-mad town. Last year, as 6th graders, won a couple of games, looked pretty good. They've evolved. Over 100 kids tried out for this team right now on the 7th grade level, who has made it to the quarterfinals, looking to expand on that this season.
Yeah, this is a program that we've seen over the last couple of years take steps. This has been a leap this year. You know, they got kids from 19 different youth programs on this roster. As you mentioned, 100 kids tried out just for this 7th grade team alone. So that should tell you that the cream is rising to the crop in the Sacramento area, and the results on the field are evident of that.
David Clark, Bo Green, these quarterbacks that are emerging on this run.
Yeah, this is a 1A and a 1B, much like Broward. An A and a 1A, just much like Broward, where they have 2 kids, no matter what the situation is, have confidence in both. Clark is the returner from last year, where he had a great tournament. Back this year, more of a dual threat kid, can get it done with his arms and legs, really nice. And Bo Green, 6'1", 160, tall kid, can really throw the rock downfield. Big arm on that kid.
Who do you give the edge to, West Texas or Sacramento?
I'm going to go with Sacramento. I think they're deeper than West Texas is. If West Texas had more bodies, maybe there's a change in my opinion. But I think Sacramento has proven that they deserve to take the next step.
And finally, who plays in the championship? Who wins the 7th grade edition of the 2016 FBU National Championship?
I think we're going to see Broward play Dallas Metro.
Okay.
And I like Broward to repeat. This group repeat. They won last year as 6th graders. I think they win it again this year as 7th.
Good thing you're better at making football selections than you are at playing chess. Alan Popadines, Youth1.com National Scouting Director. Thanks, Alan. Okay, this is The Path to Naples, and you can catch up on all of our shows on FBUNC.com as we have hit championship week. And don't forget about our championship week opening ceremonies on Friday, December 16th, with the quarterfinals kicking off on December 17th. The championship games will be streamed live as well. You can follow along FBUNC.com and the YouTube page FBU NC. Thanks to Alan Popadines and you for watching this 7th grade edition on the Path to Naples, the championship week previews of the quarterfinals. Still the 8th grade to come. I'm Neil Sika. Thanks for watching.